Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's episode of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys coming by the channel and spending some time with me on the video today. And guys, today I want to share with you a message I got from one of my subscribers that lives in Kentucky that really, this demonstrates the impact, the negative impact that forward-facing sonar is having on our sport, on tournament participation, on tackle sales. I was sort of shocked when I got this information, and I want to share it with you guys in today's video and sort of get your guys' opinion on this whole thing. So we're going to get into that in today's episode. Also, guys, before we get started, I wanted to clue you in on something that's really working real good right now. The end of March and April, guys, if you've never fished it, you guys have got to try the Megabass Mag Draft Swimbait. They got 4 different sizes now. This is the new 5-inch model here, 6-inch, 8-inch, and 10-inch models. Guys, it is probably one of the funnest baits and the most productive swim bait that you're ever going to throw for quality fish. I'll put my Tackle Warehouse link in the description. You guys can get all 4 sizes there through Tackle Warehouse. Using that link's a good way to support the channel and get you some good ones. But guys, put these things like on the 5-inch, put you some 12-pound test Seaguar and Visex fluorocarb on it. 6-inch, put the 15-pound test, and then on the 8 and 10-inch, I usually use the 20 to 25-pound test. And guys, just throw it on secondary points. If you've never caught a fish on one before, get out on your lake you're fishing, throw it on secondary points in the month of March and April. And guys, you'll catch some good fish on it. It's just an incredible bait. And I can't wait to try this little 5-incher. I got a bunch of them. I'm gonna be throwing them here over the next couple weeks, and I'll keep you guys updated on it. Okay, guys, I got a private message from one of my subscribers that lives in Kentucky, and he fishes all like the BFL divisions down there, the Music City divisions. And like the same thing that's happened here in Missouri, he was telling me that the first couple tournaments they've had for the BFLs there in Tennessee, the participation is down over 50% over the past average of the past 5 or 6 years. Like like last year and the year before that, some of their tournaments where they've had 200 entries in it, they're having 60, 70, 80 entries this year in 2025 across the board. This is something that we've seen in every state, not just Tennessee. We've seen it, we've reported on it in Texas, here in Missouri, Tennessee. I'm sure it's going on everywhere in the United States about the participation in the local and regional circuits out there that have co-anglers in it are tanking because of the cheater box. And in addition to that, he sent me some photos of his local tackle store there and how they are just they're carrying less than half of their normal inventory because nobody's buying it. Everybody's just buying, jig head minnows, forward-facing sonar stuff. Nobody's buying normal tackle, and it's freaking killing these mom and pop tackle stores, this stupid cheater box. So anyway, this is one of the things I want to do, guys. I want to bring this stuff every time something like this comes up. I want to bring it up to your attention because don't ever normalize this crap that's going on. This forward-facing sonar and it's how it's destroying our fishing and it's destroying everything we hold dear in the sport has got to go. It's like, I guarantee, I would love to be a fly on the wall at MLF because when they see their numbers tanking, and there's no other reason, the economy, is getting worse right now, and that's part of it, but it doesn't have near the impact. People are gonna skimp and save, and they're gonna sacrifice to feed their addiction of tournament fishing. But when you have co-anglers out there that don't want anything to do with the cheater box, and then you've got half of the field, half of the boaters that have traditionally fished the BFLs and the Toyota series that are traditional real bass fishermen, they don't want to go to these tournaments and get their butt kicked by a 20-year-old flat brimmer that doesn't know anything about fishing other than staring at that video game screen, and they can't compete with him. All these guys out there, the local hammers, and I know a bunch of them, guys, because a lot of these local guys that fish the BFLs and Toyota series, they are better than the Elite Series guys. They just don't fish it because they've got families and they can't get away from work and stuff. But these guys are hammers and they're artists. They have spent decades crafting their art form, whether it be cranking or spinnerbait fishing, chatterbait fishing, topwater fishing, and it's useless to them now. They can't go to these BFL tournaments or the Toyota Series tournament and compete against the jig head minnow cheater box users. And so they're not fishing the tournaments. They're tired of just donating their money to people that are winning by cheating. And I'm not saying that anglers are cheaters themselves. I'm talking about, I use it in a generic sense. Forward-facing sonar is an illegitimate way to fish. I consider it cheating. It's just like if somebody was out there throwing a stick of dynamite in the water or putting electroshocking, apparatus in the water. It's the same thing with that. And so anyway, MLF has got to be aware of this. They have got to be. So I am not going to be surprised. I was surprised this year that they didn't put more limitations on it. But I'm going to make a prediction right now, guys. Here it is, March 2025. You guys check back with me this summer when MLF announces their new rules for 2026. I'm going to make a prediction that they are going to ban the cheater box from the BFL and the Toyota series. They've got to. It's just, you can't bleed participation like they are and just completely deny the reality of it and stick your head in the sand. It's not going to work. And as much as they want to deny it, as much as Bassmaster, who I've just completely lost all confidence in Bassmaster to do the right thing, but I do know that MLF has got some people that actually fish that run that organization, so they're not stupid. But when they see, they put two and two together and see that forward-facing sonar is more of a negative than it is a positive to them, they're going to get rid of it. And it's taken a long time to do that because obviously when you're getting compensated financially from these electronic companies, nobody wants to rock the ship or lose the money on that. But when you start losing massive participation, and not only massive participation, but support for the organization, and you start losing memberships, you start losing viewer enthusiasm, you start losing participation, that's going to get their attention, and that's going to wake them up. So, guys, we have fought this fight now. We've been fighting this fight hard for 3 years. And all the people out there, all you guys that say, Randy, you're beating a dead horse, give it up, it's here to stay, you're old grandpa, get off the couch, your day's over with. Guys, you guys are gonna freaking have to eat your words, because I'm telling you right now, and we've talked about this before, there has been a massive shift in the perception and the attitude about the cheater box over the last 6 months. Prior to this summer, the majority of people out there were apathetic about it. And it's like, oh, whatever, it's just another tool, and get used to it because you can't stop technology and you can't stop progress. But it has reached the point where people don't want it. They have seen what it is, and they have listened to me on this channel, and they have listened to the people like myself that have been blowing the whistle on this bullshit, and they're tired of it. They don't want it. They don't want it in their fishing. They don't want to have to deal with it. It's on its way out. I'm telling you right now, it's just taking a long time, because when you're talking about money influencing tournament organizations, you can't count on people to do the right thing for the right reasons when you have money involved. Money corrupts everything. We know that. Money corrupts politics, it corrupts business, it corrupts everything. And this is one example of it, about how it's getting to the point where it's fixing to change. So anyway, guys, keep it up. All you guys out there that have tried to make your voice known by not fishing the tournaments and not participating and not supporting the organizations, I know that's difficult to do, but that's the only way that we're going to affect change. And I know people like myself, part of my obligations as a tournament angler and working within the industry, I have to fish the tournaments. I can vocalize my opposition to the tournaments, but I still have to go to the tournaments, whether they're allowing the cheater box or not. And like I said, I will continue voicing my opposition to it, and I will continue acknowledging when tournament organizations make the right decisions. Because coming from myself, somebody I've been in the sport for over 40 years competitively. I love the sport. I love both organizations, Bassmaster and MLF. Prior to, when they started making, a lot of decisions that undermine their own success. And I want to see them get back on the right track. I want to see Bassmaster get on the right track. I want to see MLF get on the right track. And guys, just imagine, let's just imagine for 1 second that in a perfect world that Bassmaster and MLF said, starting in 2026, guys, we are banning any type of forward-facing sonar technology from our tournaments. And we've decided we need to set a baseline. And that baseline for competing on any MLF tournament or any Bassmaster event is you're allowed to have two-dimensional sonar one two-dimensional sonar on your console with GPS, one two-dimensional sonar with GPS on your front of your boat. And that's the baseline. That's what you have to compete with. Guys, there is that. Do you realize the problems that would solve right there? There is nothing negative about that whatsoever. There's not one thing that you can name negative about that, other than the fact that all these guys that have dominated with the cheater box over the last 2 years, they will fall off into irrelevancy until they hone their skills on traditional bass fishing. Now, I'll tell you one thing right now. Any dude out there, all the guys that are addicted to the cheater box and they can't catch a fish without it, I'm not saying they are not skilled anglers. They can make that transition, and they could probably easily make that transition into being a real bass angler, a traditional bass angler. It just takes them a little bit of time. They're not going to have this instant gratification like with this generation we have now, that they want it here and now. They're not going to be able to turn on that stupid cheater box and have that cheater box tell them where to cast at. They're going to actually have to figure out where to cast, and they're going to have to fish to find fish. It's going to be a process, but they can do it. So anyway, guys, keep up the pressure on the tournament organizations. Don't let off the gas on this thing. We got the momentum on our side. We have to keep pushing hard. Don't let them up off the floor. Keep letting them know how much this stuff sucks and how it's destroying the sport. So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll talk later.